Hello, I'm Richard Murphy and I want to talk about a phrase that I hear often and which always makes me want to scream at the television or radio. And that is, we're spending taxpayers' money. Well, let me assure you, there is no such thing as taxpayers' money. This idea that somehow the government is simply spending your money is wrong. It's wrong for a number of reasons. First of all, every single pound that is created in the UK is literally created by the government in the first instance. They don't sit and wait to tax you before they can spend. That's simply not true. And we know that's not true. For example, in 2020, the government created £300 billion of quantitative easing funds to help pay for the coronavirus crisis. That wasn't taxpayers' money. That was government created money. And in fact, every single pound that the government spends is, in the first instance, borrowed by it from the Bank of England, and then, admittedly, some of that is repaid with taxation. But it isn't taxpayers' money that is spent then. But there's an even more simple explanation as to why the government does not spend your money. You legally owe your taxes to the government. You don't pay them voluntarily. I don't know anybody who pays taxes voluntarily. You owe them because, well, they're due. And they're due because Parliament created a contract under which you have to make the payment. Now, in every walk of life, we enter into contracts. When we go into a shop, we enter into a contract to buy something. Just imagine it. You go into Tesco or Sainsbury's or Morrison's or whoever else you might do your shopping with, and you hand over your money and now say, you're going to be spending my money now. That's not true, is it? Of course it isn't. The money you've just paid to a supermarket is now their money because you've done a legal exchange with them. Well, that's exactly true with regard to tax as well. The money you paid in your tax is now the government's. It's not yours anymore. It's theirs. They own it. And even if it was in your bank account at some point in time, waiting to be paid to the government, well, it wasn't really yours, was it? Because you had a debt that was owing to the government. So at all times, what people call taxpayers' money is actually, quite simply and quite straightforwardly, the government's money. It's theirs, not yours. And they can decide how to spend it. Now, of course, you can hold them to account for how that spending takes place. That's what the ballot box is for, and that is why democracy is so important, and that is why credible party politics is vital. But it still doesn't change the fact that whenever a government spends, it uses its own money and not yours. So every time you hear someone claim that they're spending taxpayers' money, I'm afraid they're telling you a straightforward lie, because the money that the government spends is not yours. And it never will be yours because you've got no legal entitlement to it, because it's actually been created for them by the Bank of England in the first place. And what you owe in tax is quite simply a debt that you owe that you can't avoid. So please hold politicians to account for this, and don't let them get away with pretending that you're responsible for whatever the government gets wrong by claiming it's taxpayers' money that has done something which you don't like, and instead make them accountable for what they're doing by saying, you made this decision with your money and we don't like it, which changes the tone of UK political debate quite significantly in a way that I think would be healthy for our democracy. I'm Richard Murphy. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this video series on YouTube if you're interested. Also look for us on Facebook. I am on Twitter @Richard J. Murphy, and at the same time look at my blog Tax Research UK, where you can find much more on these themes. And I'll see you again soon.